start with an opening statement from Coach Dykes, and then we'll have players afterwards.
Well, it was good to get a win. Thought it was a little sloppy at times, particularly in the fourth quarter. Though we had two possessions on their side of the field, we really could have pulled away and separated ourselves a little bit. But good win. Thought our guys played hard. It was hot. I thought we grinded through it. I thought our players played with a lot of enthusiasm, which was good to see. And played well enough to win the game. Like I said, a lot of things we got to get corrected. It was kind of a strange game. We didn't get to run a whole lot of plays. 59 plays, I believe. And but you started to see physically in the third quarter. Both line of scrimmage, start to take over the game, which is we had talked about that all week. The importance of physically as the game wore on, just keep leaning on the guys, and I was proud of them for doing that, and thought that was obviously a difference in the ball game. And then creating those turnovers. I think, Josh Newton's interception and Bud's interception, those are two big plays in the game for us, and again kept the 2-score or 3-score separation, which was important, and frustrated that we weren't able to kind of pull away when we had those two short fields there. We tried to had a field goal deal that was bungled a little bit, and then we got stopped on a fourth down. But again, we've got to continue just to get better, not make the same mistakes. And we had a personal foul on a drive. We kind of killed ourselves on 1st and 15, 1st and 20, 1st and 25, a couple different times where we got behind the chains a little bit. But I thought, Chandler really played well. I thought he continues to get better and better and better. Threw some balls in some really tight windows. Was really impressed with the way he played today overall, and we didn't turn the ball over. I think that was the biggest difference in the game, probably.
I know you're going to go back and look at the film on those two possessions inside the SMU 30, but
yeah.
Kind of all your first instinct on those was that play calling, execution related?
Yeah, I mean, we made a mistake. We got down there, the second time we got down there, we ran a jet sweep, and we should have handed the ball off. We ran it into an edge blitz, and we lost a couple of yards there. And then second down, we had, Jared Wiley supposed to run a slant, and for whatever reason ran over the top of the guy, and the ball probably should have gotten picked off. And so it was just all of a sudden, we had executed well, and then we got in that situation there, and we just made some really critical mistakes. So that part, you can't do that against good football teams and win. You just can't do it. And so those are things we got to get fixed, and it was very frustrating that we did that, but we just have to execute better.
Defensively, you guys took some lumps in that first game.
Yeah.
What do you say about the growth of these last 3 months?
Thank you. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Look, it's a lot easier to prepare for an offense when when they have film and you know what plays they're going to run. You know what I mean? That first week was, I'm not even making mistakes to beat us, and I did a poor job coaching, and we didn't play as well as we should have. But it makes a difference when you have film and you know what they're going to do. You know where people are lined up, and things you have to take away and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really pleased with the progress that we've made defensively. I think that we really limited their big plays today. I thought that was going into the game. They were going to take some shots down the field. They hit us on a couple, but I thought overall we really did a good job defending those deep balls, the one-on-one shots on our corners. Again, obviously, the two big plays I think in the game were the two interceptions. Those are huge plays for us, and at times that we needed them. And then you guys saw. The sack at the end of the game he was in the end zone, wasn't he? Yeah. I thought that was, since I've been coaching, I thought that was one of the biggest BS calls that I've seen in my life. That was an American crew, and those guys ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Namdi led the team with 11 tackles today, had a sack, almost had an interception. How has he progressed in the first 4 weeks of the year?
He's gotten better. That's a good thing about it. He didn't play well week 1, and he's playing a new position, and he just continues to get better every single week. He just plays with more confidence, and he just starts to see things. And what happens is sometimes when when you're playing a new position, it just takes some time. It takes some reps, and you have to see things from that perspective. And you got a different assignment and different things you have to key. every single game he gets better. I really think that what his skill set is that's made for that position. You know, I just think he's the perfect guy because he can cover. He's big and physical enough to support the run. He can make adjustments. He's a smart guy. You know, I just think the guy's a really, really good football player, and I think it's really a tailor-made position for him, and I think it's a really good position.
You guys have been Major Everhart more involved in the offense. Can you talk about how he's growing up a little bit last few weeks? Major Everhart?
Yeah. So Major, it's good to see him continue to get better and better. And, you know, Major's a fast, explosive guy, and you know, I think that we have a bunch of those H's that are kind of in that mix. You know, you got Major, you have John Paul Richardson, who was banged up a little bit, and you know, Jack Bash was not available this week, so John Paul kind of took Jack's position when we got into 10 personnel. And so he was playing a little bit different thing, and then we've had, you know, Jordan Bailey has shown flashes, and so we've got to continue to bring that group along. You know what I mean? You know, those guys they all have different skills, and they all bring something to the table, and you know, they all have speed. I mean, I think JoJo Earl's the other one, and you know, they all have something different, and you know, I'm looking for one of those three guys to emerge. You know what I'm saying? Just become that guy that we can really count on, and you know, it seems to me like Major's starting to become that guy, and hopefully, you know, we need to get that position solidified where, you know, those guys can just execute at a high level, and they're all very capable. It's just a matter of who's gonna be the most consistent. And I like what we've seen from Age so far.
Coach, give an update on Johnny Hodges and how do you think the team played in his absence?
Yeah. Johnny has a little bit of a thumb injury, and I don't know, it's going to be kind of a week-to-week thing for a while. Happened last week in the game, in the Houston game, and we really didn't know about it until the middle of the week or how serious it was. So, you know, Shad stepped in, and you know, I'll look at the tape, and I thought he did a really good job. I mean, Johnny's a hard guy to replace because he's played so much football. He's so comfortable. Shad was kind of our 2 or 1.5 really, kind of a starter, back up. Both guys played a big role behind both of those inside linebackers, and today, you know, he had to carry the load, and from what I know of, what I saw, I thought he played well. I thought he did some good things. You know, he's got a chance to be a really good football player. I mean, he's an explosive, athletic, tough, physical football player, and you know, his deal is just got to continue to learn and mature and get reps. And you know, he's one of those guys, sometimes this happens to people when you're such a good athlete like Shad is. I mean, he's bounced around from all these different positions. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, in high school he played offense, and then he played, you know, he's just bounced around in all these different roles. And I think now he has a chance to get settled in and really learn how to play the game in one position. And I think, you know, he's got a chance to develop into a really good football player. So I'm really excited about what he's going to become and his progress, and again, I thought today was a heck of a start for him.
What's been the biggest area of improvement you've seen from Chandler week 1 to now?
Yeah, just poise, I think. I think it's poise and confidence, you know what I mean? I mean, I think we're not there yet, but I think he's starting to get on the same page with his receivers and have a trust and a belief in those guys that where they're gonna be and when they're gonna be there, and you know, I thought that was, I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen is just, you know, a confidence and an understanding of what to do, and then you know, Chandler's such a headsy player. I mean, you think about quarterbacks, all the stuff they're processing. Okay, you know, you gotta get a signal, and you gotta get the formation set. And then most of the time you have a motion, and then you have a pass protection. You gotta know who's hot on the pass protection. Then you gotta know the play. And what Chandler to me is doing such a good job of is understanding the situations. You know what I mean? Okay, this is 3rd and 3, and being aware of that. You may call a play, for example, it may have a fade route on the outside, a stick route, and a flat route. Well, if, you know, a lot of quarterbacks on 3rd and 3 will throw the fade. You know, it's a very low percentage throw, probably an 18%, you know, chance to complete that throw, where Chandler's just doing a really good job of staying within the offense and understanding, okay, look, this is really my first read, but this is the throw that makes more sense. Or I can really run here and get out of the pocket, or if it's 3rd down, then I can look for somebody down the field, or if it's 3rd down now, I can really duck my shoulder and finish the run and get the 1st down and move the chains. So just all these little nuances that the really good quarterbacks do, you know, you're starting to see him do more often. And, you know, that's what makes the great ones great. You know, they're able to process all that stuff. Because I mean, that's a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And that's why it's so hard to play that position. There's so many people that are so blessed physically that can, you know, throw the ball through the roof, but they just don't have that innate ability of understanding, you know, what to do with the football in certain situations. And you know, Chandler's really starting to figure that out, and it shows up a bunch on Saturdays. I mean, it really does. And you know, he just makes such smart decisions. Now, don't get me wrong, he handed the ball today on a jet sweep when he should have handed it off. You know, I mean, he did some stuff wrong today that he can get corrected, and 2 or 3 reads probably where he could have pulled it and run, and different things like that. But, you know, the big game, in-game decisions, man, we're very comfortable putting the ball in his hands and letting him make those, because more often than not, he's made the right decision.
Jalen Robinson, has he kind of emerged that other outside receiver?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think he's, you know, he's a guy that we can count on. You know what I mean? Same thing. He's played a lot of football. He's got a lot of experience. You know, he's played in this offense. I mean, he played in this offense really at Central Florida. You know, it's very similar style of play when he was there, and you know, he's very comfortable. He's kind of one of the few guys that probably knows the offense well enough to be able to bounce around from different positions. But yes, I think he's, you know, I think he's going to continue to develop and continue to make big plays and be a big play threat down the field. You know, we didn't really get the ball down the field a whole lot today, but you know, Jalen's one of those guys that when we do, he's going to be the recipient of it. He and Savion, I think, are the 2 guys, you know, that have that big play capability. You know, I thought Blake Knoll played a bigger role today, man. I'm really proud of Blake. You know, it kind of goes back to what we said earlier. Blake is incredibly mature, incredibly accountable. You know what he's going to do, where he's going to be, what he's going to execute like he's supposed to. So just really proud of him and you know, his development. He's shown a lot of patience. He hadn't gotten to play probably a whole lot other than on special teams, and he's been probably one of the most important special teams players on our team, certainly the last 2 years. And just really proud of you know, his patience and sticking with it, putting the team first, and you know, he's starting to get rewarded now. I mean, it's good to see when kids do that.
Coach, being the recruiting hotbed DFW is, how much does a win like this help you guys in that department?
You know, I don't really know. I mean, we haven't recruited much against SMU in the past. You know, my guess is we will more in the future, but it hasn't been something that we've done that much in the past. I mean, just look at the history. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a difference.
There's a lot of hype around SMU going into the ACC. Do you think this was a Power 5 matchup? Do they play?
Yeah, no, that's a good football team. Yes, that's why our guys were excited to win. Look, I mean, we got a lot of respect for them. I mean, at times, that's a good team. It's a team that's built on experience. They have a lot of experienced players, but they've added some really good transfers to their experienced players. A very senior-laden team. You know, you can say either 9 or 10 senior starters on defense. Tons of experience. You know, I mean, guys. You know, Jonathan McGill played a ton of football at Stanford. You know, just some of those guys that they've added, you know, have really, you know, made a difference in their team. That's a good football team. Yeah, I mean, that's a good football team. I mean, those guys are going to, you know, my guess is, I don't know that they'll play a game in the next, 9 weeks? 8 weeks? How many? 8 weeks? That is, they're not a double-digit favorite. That's my guess is they'll be 10-point favorites or more in every single game they play the rest of the season, if I was betting. So, which I'm not. Yes, sir.
Having said that, and you left points on the field in the second half.
Yeah,
you said,
yeah.
After halftime, it did seem you all kind of warm down.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
before the break, did you feel like in the second half you did kind of put your stamp?
Well, look, that's what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if we're going to be a good football team, that's what TCU football has been built on, is playing tough and physical. And, you know, and we throw the ball around some and do whatever, but, you know, we won last year because we were a tough football team. You know, we played hard and we were physical and we played tough, and I think we've taken a step defensively since then. I think we're starting to really get some confidence defensively, I think, which is going to serve us well. But, look, if we're going to be good in our league, it's always built around our offense and defensive front. You know, all the other guys are important and you know, incredibly important. But if we're not going to be good on the offensive defensive front, we're not going to win here. That's just the way it is. And so, we should do that.
We'll go two more.
And that's who we are, and that's how we're built.
Two more questions.
We're currently one step closer to the end of this rivalry.
Yep.
What your thought about that is?
Hooray.
126 rushing yards for Amani Bailey today. Does he have what it takes to be a three?
Yeah, I think Amani's a heck of a football player. I think, I think he's a, he's just a good player. You know what I mean? He's physical, he's tough, he catches the ball, he's a good protector. I mean, he's just, he's shifty. I love the way he finishes runs. He's tough. He's probably practices harder than anybody on our team. What more could you say? You know what I mean? I love the kid. He is a freaking baller. I mean, he just, I want to put the ball in his hands. And when you have a guy like that, that's a good thing.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, appreciate you guys.